Next topic is chemical equation. So chemical equation. Activity 1 point can be described as when magnesium ribbon burns with magnesium ribbon burnt in oxygen, it converts to magnesium oxide. We already know that the Mg plus O2 gives the MgO. This is the chemical reaction of magnesium burnt in oxygen. It converted into magnesium oxide. This description of a chemical reaction in a sentence form is quite long. So in earlier time, the scientists they did not know that how to write a chemical equation, but this is the modern technique. But in earlier time, they don't know about the representation of chemical reactions, but they can write in the longer form. How means it can be written in a shorter form. The simplest way to do this is to write in the form of a word equation. They will write in the form of a word equation like magnesium plus oxygen gives the magnesium oxide. They will write in the form of a wordic form. They will not write in the form of a chemical equations, but they will write in the form of a wordic equation, that is called as the magnesium oxygen gives the magnesium oxide. This right hand side is called as the product side. This left hand side is called as the reactant side. So always reactant side is right present on the left hand side, and the product present on the right hand side. So this is called as the reactant and this is called as the product. So this arrow mark indicates the reaction. So the reaction is taking place. This is before reaction, this is the after reaction. So left hand side are called as the reactant and right hand side is called as the products. The substance that undergo chemical changes in the reaction 1.1, magnesium and oxygen are the reactants. So here, so already we know that the what is here, Mg plus oxygen. So this is the 2. So these are the gives the magnesium oxide. So that is called as the Mg plus O2 give rise to 2 MgO. So this is called as the reactant side. So what is here in the first activity? What is the reaction here? So the reaction is magnesium is react with the oxygen. So it will gives the white dazzling powder with white dazzling flame with white powder. What is here? Mg plus O2 give rise to MgO2. Here what is here? The substance that undergoes chemical changes in the reaction 1.1, magnesium and oxygen are called as the reactant. So magnesium and oxygen are called as the reactant. The new substance is magnesium oxide. This is called as the magnesium oxide. So formed during the reaction as a product, a word equation shows a change of reactant to product through an arrow placed between them. So this is called as the arrow. The reactant and product. The reactant reacting with each other. So the product is formed, that is indicated by the arrow mark. This arrow mark. The reaction are written on the left hand side and LHS with the plus sign between them. So the reactant is written on the plus in between a plus sign in the between the plus one, like Mg, example MgO2, correct? This is the MgO to MgO. MgO. In between we have to write the plus sign. Similarly, products are written on the right hand side. Products are written on the right hand side. Products are written on the right hand side. Reactant are always written on the left hand side. The product is formed on the right hand side. In between that plus sign or a plus sign, you have to write in the reactant side. So this arrow mark will indicates the reaction between the reactant. The arrow added points towards the product and shows the direction of reaction. This arrow headed towards the product side will indicate the direction of reaction. Direction of reaction means these two reactions react with each other to give this product. This point will indicate the magnesium and oxygen are two reactant reacting with each other, that will gives the magnesium oxide. This arrow mark will tells. Next, how to write a chemical equation. How to write a chemical. Now we know that now we are knowing that how to write a chemical equation. Next topic is writing chemical equation. Is there are any other shorter way for representing chemical equation? So in ancient time or ancient scientists, they don't know the how to write the chemical equation, and they are written in the form of odic equation, like magnesium plus oxygen gives the magnesium oxide. They will written in the odic form. But this is the only one method that to write the chemical equation. Means there is a different types, there is another type of method that we have. So what is next? Chemical equation can be made for concise and useful if we use a chemical formula instead of words. So what is the most convenient method to represent the chemical equation? Means chemical formula instead of words. So the best method, later the scientists concluded that the word equation is better than chemical formula. So chemical formula is better than the word equation. So later the scientists will discuss written in the form of this. A chemical equations represents a chemical reaction. Chemical equation always represent a chemical reaction. If you recall formula of magnesium oxygen and magnesium oxide, the above word equation can be written as earlier the scientists will written in the form of wordic equation, magnesium plus oxygen. You already know that, but later the scientists represent this equation with the chemical symbols. Like what is the magnesium symbol is Mg. So plus oxygen, what is oxygen? O2. So the product is MgO2. So the product is MgO2. They will written in the symbolic representation. Count and compare the number of atoms of each element on the left hand side and right hand side of the arrow. So here this is left hand side and this is called as the right hand side. So count the number of elements. Here magnesium is 1. So there is no number, means that will always 1. Here magnesium is 1, here oxygen is 2, because the 2 is written in the below of the oxygen. So here oxygen is 1 and again magnesium is also 1. Is the number of atoms of each element same on the both side? So here magnesium is 1, here magnesium is 1, but here oxygen is 2, but here oxygen is only 1. If yes, then the equation is balanced. So if the reactant side and the product side are equal number of atoms is there, means that is called as the balanced equation. If they are not balanced, means it is called as the unbalanced chemical equation. So if not, then equation is said to be unbalanced, because the mass is not in the same of the both side of the equation. Here if it is the balanced or unbalanced, means we can say that it is the unbalanced, because here Mg is 1 and oxygen is 2, correct? Oxygen is 2. Oxygen is 2 here. Again in the product side Mg is 1 and oxygen is 1. So but Mg is balanced, but oxygen is 2, but in the product side oxygen is 1. So it is the unbalanced equation. This is what is here question asked here. One more question: what is balanced equation and what is unbalanced equation? So we can write that so the total number of elements or a total number of atoms present in the left hand side is equal to the total atoms present in the right hand side is equal, means is called as the balanced chemical equation. So what is balanced chemical equation? So what is balanced chemical? Total number of elements or atoms present in the left hand side is equal to the total elements or atoms present in the product side is equal to the balanced chemical equation. Same, what is unbalanced chemical equation? Means the total number of atoms in a left hand side or reactant side is not equal to the total atoms present on the product side, is called as the unbalanced chemical equation. Such chemical equation is called as the skeletal chemical reaction. So if we not, then the equation is unbalanced because the mass is not the same on the both side of the equation. So there are two types of definition comes here. One is the balanced chemical equation and another one is the unbalanced chemical equation. Such chemical equation is a skeletal chemical equation for a reaction, that is called as the skeletal chemical reaction. Equation 1.2 is a skeletal chemical equation for the burning of magnesium in air. So what is your first activity 1.1 equation? So Mg plus O2 give rise to MgO. So here magnesium is 1, here magnesium is 1 and oxygen is 2. But here magnesium is 1, but here oxygen is 1, but here 1 plus 1 2, 1 plus 1 is 2. Here total number becomes 3, here 2 only. So this is not a balanced equation. So then how you to balance this equation? Means that is the next our main problem. So that is called as the balanced chemical equation. Recall the law of conservation of mass that you studied in the 9th class. Mass can neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction. Remember that. One more question is what is the conservation of mass? Or write this statement of conservation of mass means mass neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction is called as the conservation of mass. One more question. What is conservation of mass? The mass neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction is called as the conservation of mass. That is, the total mass of the elements present in the product of a chemical reaction has to be equal to the total mass of an element present in the reactant. So what is the balanced equation? Means the total mass of the element present in the product of a chemical reaction has to be equal to the total mass of an element present in the reactant is called as the balanced chemical equation. What is balanced equation? The total mass of the element present on the reactant side is equal to the total mass of the element present on product side is equal, means is called as the balanced chemical equation. What is balanced chemical equation? The total mass of an element present in the reactant side is equal to the total mass of an element present on the product side is equal, means is called as the balanced equation. And it is unbalanced means the total mass of an element present on reactant side is not equal to the total mass of an element present on the product side is called as the unbalanced equation. Unbalanced equation. In other words, the number of atoms of each element remains the same before and after the chemical reaction. Hence, we need to balance the skeletal chemical equation. So after the reaction is the same and before the reaction is same, means that is the skeletal equation. So there is no so there is no balancing between the reaction, means then you have to balance that chemical equation. Is the chemical equation one time to balance it? Let us learn about balancing chemical equation step by step. The word equation for activity 1.3 may be represented as, so that zinc granules react with sulfuric acid. What is that reaction? Zinc plus HCl. What is the 2HCl? So what is here? 2 zinc sulfuric acid or zinc sulfate we can write. So what is the correct? So 2HCl gives the, what is the formula here? Which gas is liberated when zinc react with HCl? Means we know that the hydrogen gas will be liberated. So zinc sulfuric acid, zinc sulfate plus hydrogen gas. So we can call, we can take the HCl as well as we can take H2SO4. In the equation they are taken as the H2SO4. The above word equation may be represented by following chemical equation: zinc H2SO4 and ZnSO4 H2. Here also H2 liberation, here also H2 gas liberation. Here in the case of zinc is reacting with the H2SO4 acid as well as the HCl acid. So these are the very strong acids. HCl hydrochloric acid and H2SO4 is known as the sulfuric acid. These are the very strong acids. So that zinc is called as the metal react with acid. So this is metal and this is called as the acid. So zinc reacting with H2SO4, that will give the ZnSO4 plus S2. Let us examine the number of atoms of different elements on both sides of the arrow. Number, what is the zinc is there, H2SO4 is there, zinc, ZnSO4 and S2. So first Zn, how many elements are present on both reactant side and product side? So what is here? Zinc is 1, this is also zinc is 1, so this is reactant side is 1, reactant side is 1. Second, again hydrogen here, this hydrogen 2, reactant side is 2, product side also 2 is there. So next sulfur is 1 on the right hand side and left hand side is 1, correct? So here oxygen is 4, here oxygen is 4. Oxygen is 4. So as the number of atoms of each element is the same on both sides of the arrow, is a balanced chemical equation. So here you observed that, so here reactant side is reactant side and product side having the equal number of atoms on the right in the reaction. So here Zn is on the Zn is 1 and in the reactant side as well as the product side. So reactant is 1 and product side is 1 for Zn. Again S2 is 2 and 2 is 2, here also 2. Again sulfur is 1 in the reactant side and product side also 1, and oxygen is 4, oxygen 4. This is called as the balanced chemical equation. So balanced chemical equation. So Zn, in this Zn here Zn1, correct? Zn1, here also Zn1, H2, 2H2, 2H2, correct? S1 single S, again O4. This is we written in the first. You have to count the number of elements present on the right hand side and left hand side. If the number of elements are equal in both sides, means then we have said that it is the balanced chemical equation. So if there is not balanced in the two sides, means that is called as the unbalanced chemical equation. As the number of atoms in each element is the same on both sides of an arrow, is called as the balanced chemical equation. So another